Great to welcome in Lowcountry State Senator Tom Davis. A lot to talk about, a lot to catch up on, but let us begin maybe with some thoughts from you, maybe a reaction to the resignation, the surprise resignation to a lot of us, of Beaufort Mayor Stephen Murray.
I guess in a word, I would say disappointment. Stephen Murray is an excellent public official. I've gotten to know Stephen quite well over the 9 years, first when he was on city council and then most recently as mayor. And so we're losing a tremendous public service and servant. And so that's why I say disappointment is my first reaction. On the other hand, I would also say I have empathy for it. I mean, it's difficult when you're trying to do something new, when you're trying to, establish a new path forward, when you're trying to do things differently than has been done historically. And whenever you do that, you're going to have those in the community that are resistant to change. And sometimes they have great points and you have to listen to them. But you also have to accept the fact that as a public official, you're going to get criticism. That's part of the deal. And I empathize. I don't like to receive criticism. I certainly have received criticism for positions I've taken on the issues. And it takes a while to realize that you're never going to make everybody happy. And so I texted Stephen after hearing about the news. I told him that I was disappointed, that I did empathize. But I also told him, I said, look, Stephen, you're too good at this. You're too valuable to stay on the sidelines for long, and I'm going to help you find something to involve you in public life going forward. And so disappointment, but empathy, I guess, would be the two words I use to describe it.
Let me ask you kind of a side question to that. You've been in this business a while. In today's political climate, is it harder to find people who can take the slings and arrows that are the slings and arrows that much more pointed than they have been?
It is difficult, and I think by and large, people don't like to be criticized. I get that, but with the rise of social media and technology and the ability of individuals to express opinions, which is a good thing. I mean, it gives you an opportunity to hear from your constituents, but it also gives them a means by which they can criticize you and sometimes attack you. And you've got to develop a thick skin. And look, I speak as somebody who still has to remind himself of that fact every day. I mean, I'm not going to make everybody happy. If you're going to tackle tough issues, if you're going to be a leader on issues, you're going to make some people unhappy. And it just takes a while to realize that and develop the thick skin. But to answer your question directly, I do think we lose a lot of good people because some people just don't want to put up with the hassle. And that's a shame.
All right. Well, let's go to issues that hopefully have a little more unanimity in them. The widening of I-95. It's going to begin sooner rather than later, although some of us were hoping it would have started 2 or 3 years ago. But anyway.
Yeah, I count myself among those who wish it had been done a few years ago. But I do want to emphasize that we have placed a priority on our interstate system in South Carolina. And here in my neck of the woods, that means I-95. And so anybody who's driven I-95 coming from Georgia, 3 nicely paved lanes, you cross the bridge into South Carolina, it narrows down into 2 not so nicely paved lanes. So I'm happy to report that all the funding is in place, all the permitting is in place, all the environmental mitigation has been done, and the bridge from South Carolina, Georgia will be expanded to 3 lanes in each direction.
Okay.
Then we'll continue that 3 lanes in each direction and repaving all the way to exit 8, and that work will begin in January. We're already working now on the financing for the next leg from exit 8 up to the Walterboro exit. And so that's got to be a #1 priority for me. It's important for our economic development, but it's also important for public safety. And so we are addressing that. It should have been done a while back, but let's look forward. We're going to get that done and continue the push all the way up to North Carolina.
Fantastic news to hear. And again, that begins just after the first of the year?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I've got just a few seconds left, but pat yourself on the back for the county and the towns in the county buying up a lot of green space over the last few months. We have been doing the stories, and part of that is because the state is now allowing towns and counties to tap into ATAX money, correct?
That's correct. And actually, 1% green space money that was approved by referendum. And it's extremely important. I mean, if every single piece of property in southern Beaufort County was developed in accordance with what's already permitted, we would more than double the number of rooftops in southern Beaufort County. And so, for those who travel 170 and 278 and are frustrated like I am with the traffic, imagine if we doubled the rooftops. Imagine what that would do to our fragile estuarine system. And so we need to preserve and keep Beaufort County special, the thing that made a lot of us come here in the first place. So I'm really excited about that green space program. Beaufort County is the first county in the state to take advantage of the program, and I think we're going to be a leader in that regard.
Fantastic. Senator, we appreciate the time. Good luck to you as we head down the road toward a wonderful fall. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
We'll be back with more right after this.